I hope people turn up this week. I really do. I suppose we better get this show on the road. Sunday shop, do 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 do. Sunday shop, do 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 do. Sunday shop, do 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 do. Ah, hello, hello, hello. Welcome, willkommen, bonjour, bonsoir, hola, ciao, good afternoon, hey, hello, greetings, salutations. Welcome aboard the weirdness. How is everyone this week? I hope all is well. There we go. So, yay, we made it through another week. Weird reflections happening on the speckies, but hey, if I take them off, I ain't going to be able to see a thing, so we'll leave them. Let's start out with some hellos. Hello, Sky, hope you're all well, and Austin, and Steffi Steph, and Adele, lovely Adele, and Greg, the Guppy guy, as formerly known, not just 3G. Jeremy, greetings all. Hope all are well. Well, as well as can be expected anyway. And I hope you all had a good week. So, and my lady as well. Hello, my dear. So, what have we been up to this week? Work. Kind of a given lately, isn't it, really? Doing an awful lot of that. Water changes. 3 a.m. How good could it be? Yeah, good point. Always sucks to be awake at that time. Yes, work, water changes. Wank, no, we're not going to go for the 3 W's. Yes, copious amounts of coffee. Yes, lots of coffee. Bueno de coffee. Mucho de coffee. What else have we done this week? Well, we have new baby fish. As from last week, we now have a baby Pelvicochromis subocellatus, posh cribs. Around about 40 of them. I can actually see them from here, just bimbling about with the mum and dad. So lots of splashing noises from that tank whenever anyone gets a bit close. Quite surprised, we've got about a dozen baby Shelleys as well now. Despite having got rid of all the adults, the babies are now having babies, so yay for that. The Cory eggs have all vanished from in here, these little beggars. So the ones I saved and stuck in the breeder box. Now, I'm not sure whether they hatched or whether the baby bristlenoses ate the eggs. So if we give it another week or two and I start seeing baby Corys in there, then yay. If not, we know not to put Cory eggs in with baby bristlenoses. Howdy, Ricky. How you doing? Hope you sorted your crocodiles out. No typhoons here, but it has been rather stormy and hissing it down with rain all day. Hence why we didn't go wandering around any graveyards today. And Mary's a bit wobbly at the moment, and very wet and slidey. So instead, we just went to an LFS, and I may have been. I did behave myself somewhat. Because there was something else that really did catch my eye and maybe go, ooh, what can I finagle to get those in? But I haven't got a QA tank, quarantine tank at the moment, so that was a no-no. Instead, we just got one little fishy who is down there in with Lucky. And they've already made friends. They're just sat right next to each other. So new fishy is a yellow comet or a lemon comet, depending on which way you name it. And I chose that one because he's got a black stripe up the front of his dorsal fin. So There we go. Yeah, so have I missed anyone? I don't think so. Ah, Mr. Moist Hose is here. Evening, our wet socks. Sorry, I knew there had to be some kind of joke with that. And Purdy Paddy is here. Hello, my dear. So yes, as you may have seen Monday's video on Lucky the Goldfish, the world's luckiest fish. He is doing very well. He's nearly all healed up now, so I'll probably give him both a week in there now. Let everything sort itself out, and then those guys can go into the pond, ready for winter. They can join the other troublemakers in there. Shanna Banana, how are you, my sultry little friend? Yes, you sound so much more coy when you're on your own than when you're with Jason. It's kind of amusing. Yes, but yeah, so Lucky has another comment. I figure as there's 3 comments in the pond already, adding another one isn't going to cause any problems. Easy now. As we Daniel. Oh, Danny boy. The person who compared me to Baldrick, well, Tony Robinson. Hence today's title, not Time Team. Wonder how many people are going to get clicking on it and going, this isn't Time Team. If you're not familiar, Time Team was a sort of 90s, noughties, very English archaeological program. So is it okay to put guppies in with the bristle noses? Yes, it'd probably do good actually to put the guppies in with the bristle noses, as they will act as dither fish. And Mr. Thippy Hippie, hello my dear, how are you? I have a cunning plan. I was going to start doing Baldrick's poetry, but we'll leave that one. Again, only very, very few of us will actually get the joke. I think streaming when the super cyclone hits. What do you think? I think it's a good idea, but stay bloody safe. There's more than one influencer that has is no longer, because they decided it would be a good idea to film things like tornadoes or hurricanes out in the wild. I'm not going to say Darwin Award, but you know, yeah, just keep yourself safe. That's the main thing, really. Just keep yourself safe. Yeah, we'd rather you didn't and know that you're actually safe than that you did and then something bad happens. But obviously, entirely up to you. I know you're kind of experienced in these things, so you're not going to do anything super dumb, like go climb a tree in the middle of a hurricane or anything like that. Go hold a large carbon fiber rod outside. I won't be going to the beach to welcome. Yeah, you've seen that video then, have you? Yes. Yes, influencer goes to the beach to welcome hurricane, gets hit by a boat. Yeah, didn't go down, not didn't go well. Let's put it that way. I suppose you could say Insta spam. Not going to bring it lunch. Yeah, go set out a picnic, see if it stops with you. Get the little blanket out and the cucumber sandwiches. Oh dear. You might have to bring your own wasp. Come on, who hasn't had a picnic? Who's actually had a picnic without a wasp? Hi, Yella. Yeah, I see your eyes glowing out there, mate. We're going to bring many gifts. Is that a UK thing then? The second you open food outside in the summer, a bunch of wasps turn up. A lot of pelagic birds. Yeah, they get blown into land, don't they? All the seagoing birds. Oh, I haven't seen Eric. You get yellow jackets. Yeah, yellow jackets is basically what we call a wasp. We get hornets too, but hornets are fine. Hornets are kind of like bumblebees in that they don't sting unless they have to. They're usually pretty chill and friendly. And Manda Panda, how are you, my dear? Fish, shrimp. Anyway, so we're looking for a name for Lucky's new friend. The tentative first one is Jason, because Nadine's first goldfish was a yellow comet called Jason. Hello, Debbie. How are you? Bear in mind, his friends will be Lucky, Watson, Holmes, and Moriarty. But yeah, so we're working on a name. Something will happen. Something will turn up. What else has happened this week? I guess the fish I didn't buy in the LFS because I've got to figure out somewhere to put them and then quarantine them. And before I can quarantine anything, I need to get rid of about at least a couple of hundred bristlenoses. Pumpkin. That might work, except there's a local cat called Pumpkin who I'm attempting to befriend. She's a very scaredy cat. She was abused and she has issues with skin mites and things. Nursey. Oh, perfect. Yes, Nursey. Yes. Hello, Nursey. That's a good one. That is Nursey. Or Baldrick. Yeah, it's something I've got to be willing to say out in the back garden when there might be people around. So Baldrick might fit better than. Yes, I know fish can't understand or hear their names, but I still call them by their names and say hello to them. Yes, I'm soft and sappy that way. Yeah, Balders. Yeah, Baldrick. So they're already friends. They're already hanging about together. I've only been in there a couple of hours. Let's have a look. So, so there's Lucky. As you can see, all the swelling's come down. He's just a fat boy now. And there's new fishy alongside. I promise they aren't dead. They are actually moving. See, they're friends. They're snuggled up together. And carefully not pointing the camera over there. Oh, can we get close enough? Can you see? Can you see the babies by the flower pot? Just about. So Shelley's doing Shelley things. And the babies are real hard to see because they're right back down there. And it's not. Pumpkinhead Harvey. So then over here, yes, Corey's all doing snugglies. Nope, Mr. Nanakar has been in the wars a bit. Probably been fighting with the electric blue Akaras and winning. Corey's doing group snoozy snuggles. As Corey's do, they like to snuggle together. Ricky's gone to feed sugar gliders. Algae farm full of bristle noses. And what we got? Let's see. Let's just randomly point the camera. Yeah, that's the bristle noses and the last batch of the criblets. Bristlies, Mo Bristlies, snails. I'm just going to dislocate his shoulder if I try to see that. Try to do it that way. So, oh, chair's falling apart. Baby linears. Lots of baby linears. Far more than I thought I had. And then, yeah, just another tank full of bristle noses down there. Oh, heck. Howdy, Undertaker. Oh, look at that. My lady is going down to the fish room to see what trouble the fish have been getting into. So yeah, that's pretty much where we are at the moment. Obviously, there's the tanks that we can't get to that are around the corner. Other thing I bought while I was in the LFS, just because, you know, yeah, suction cups for heaters, because, yeah, you're good at disappearing in a flash. Call this. Yes, more history was made this year. Yeah. Our shortest serving Prime Minister ever. And that includes the issues during like, the Civil War and stuff when they kind of got killed. That kind of thing. Well, actually, Civil War was before that. But yeah, so we had our shortest serving Prime Minister. And the previous Prime Minister has put himself back up for re-election after quitting the last time. Yeah, very strange. Halloween, not quite All Hallows Eve yet, but we'll take it. Anything to keep the crust mess out of the way. Yeah, weather's a bit crazy here too. Absolutely precipitating with rain. Yeah. So driving back from Dis, it was basically the roads were flooded. So that was fun. Eddie, darling, how are you? Welcome, Eduardo. Sorry. Hello, Eduardo. How are you? Just make him feel comfortable. Oh dear. Absolutely hummering down. Yes, it's been an interesting one. I'm glad I'm not got to go to work tomorrow because it's going to be doing the same all day tomorrow as well. But I shall be sat at home, sat at home. I shall be here doing water changes and uploading a video of some flavour. Yeah, not sure yet. We'll see. We'll see what happens because I've got two recorded. I've got to see whether the second one I recorded is actually watchable. Now, F off is pain. Yeah, exactly. I think pretty much inept is how I would describe the majority of the young Tories. Let's put it that way. I think we can safely say the next government we get will not be Conservatives. Yes, we're going back to the left again, I think, thankfully. At least make a pretense that we're not trying to make the rich people richer. You know, vive la révolution, etc. I mean, that's giving me a headache. Ugh. I'm just having a bad hair day, okay? That's why I've got the hat on. And I didn't get around to tying the hair up in a ponytail. But yes, that's plenty enough politicking. And so Friday's video was Morley St. Botolph Church, complete with what I'm pretty sure is a medieval burial mound. Didn't encounter anything while we were there, so whether there is anything to encounter or not, I have no idea. Didn't feel or encounter anything at all. So just a general wander around an old church. Ah, yes, farty fat man. Good job of getting the spelling of that one right, Dan. Makes note. Go to Church of St. Wandrigicilius. Yeah, spell that one. See? Well, I had my hat. Give me a dent in the forehead. Hello, Holly. Freaky fish lady. Sod it. We'll go without the hat. We'll deal with the consequences of the bad hair day. Or Conker's bad fur day if you go with the old computer game. Oh, phone's going beepy beepy. Ones they have go to hell, all farmers in trouble. Big aquarium, I've got frog lives in it. Yeah, my frog's all outside. When I went out to get the latte leaves earlier, leaves for latte, the bunny, fresh greens. Yeah, there were frogs hopping around all over the place. Just the standard common British frog, nothing spectacular, but nice to have. They keep the slugs under control anyway, if nothing else. Even if it does mean for a couple of weeks in spring, it's a constant from the back garden. And when you've got 20 odd of them doing it, it comes one long, solid noise. There's no gap in it. Yes. Yeah, I'm kind of a bit stuck though. I'm running out of waffle already. It's not a good sign. Ooh, what have I watched? What else have I been up to this week? Work has been very work-like. Nothing too busy or crazy or chaotic, but yeah, keep me occupado. So I'm not just bored at least. And paying the bills. And I got my B&Q discount card as well this week, so that's a result. B&Q, if you're not familiar, is a large chain hardware type store. Think a Homeless Despot or Home Depot or something like that kind of place. But, yeah, not something I frequent regularly, but better than Wally World. You can do it if you B&Q it, exactly. But as Screwfix and B&Q are both owned by Kingfisher, we get discounts back and forth between the two. So, result. Now I just need Kingfisher to buy Maidenhead Aquatics and I'll be sorted. And Sainsbury's. No, not the pensions one quite yet. Home Depot. Go with the Homeless Despot. That works quite well. I mean, I didn't make that one up. That came from Ave. If anyone's familiar with that channel, they'll know. Shanna, na, 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 na. Yeah, we all love Shanna. Oh, Dennis is here. Hello, Dennis. Mr. Tater Salad. Geez, well, I've had memberships for 11 months. Wowzers. That's quite the shock. But thank you very much for being a member for 11 months. Wow. A great banana. I don't want to know what you do with your bananas, though, Shanna. Yeah, Ave is definitely one of a kind. He's outspoken, to say the least. No, when there are channels that, I mean, I'm not likely to get a sponsorship from anyone. Certainly not Manscaped or Raid Shadow Legends. Hello, Phil. How you doing? But yeah, Ave is definitely never going to get sponsors. Oh dear. Chewy. Yeah, but they're definitely unique. Yeah, but definitely, yeah, highly viewable. We may not share the same political views. I don't think anyone does, but he does make you chuckle. His teardown and review of the the home massager. That got to teach something. Yeah, you got to teach it in the confuser. Type it into Gargle. Yes, I don't know how long he sits there trying to figure out the various things he calls things, but exactly. Probably the most famous hands on the internet. That's all you see. Just the hands and the feet. Yes. Yeah. It's one of those ones where you say certain things and you can tell if the person you're talking to watches Ave. If you refer to timber, as tree carcass, for example, yeah, or an electrician as an electrician, that's another one. You and me both, Jeremy. Yeah, we only bought the stickers to replace the warning labels. Keep your dick in a vice. Exactly. Sharpie foot cam. There's not a lot to actually see. I've got tiny feet. You're not missing anything. Not seeing my feet. And with the size of my gut, I barely see my feet. So you know. Um, yeah. No, definitely, if you've not watched a good YouTube channel to watch. But yeah, there's some nice, not to be operated by F-wits and that kind of thing. Oh, yay! Yay, longfin lemonies. So did you do anything different, or did it just happen of its own accord, Phil? And now you got to figure out where to put them and what to do with them when you get another 100 every month or 150 every 4 weeks. Yeah, it's like, yes, they're bred. Yes, yes, I'm breeding these. Oh, what am I going to do with them all? Um, yeah, I was saying, because I find the common bristle noses I can sell easily because people quite happily pay a fiver for a bristle nose in a shop. But yeah, the super reds, they breed the same amount, but they're more expensive. So I'm not complaining because I get 3 times for a bristle for a super red what I get for a common, but don't sell that many of them. And I'm still getting the same amount of them. So that's why we now have 150, 300, 450. Yeah, we've got 150, 300, 450. Yeah, I think we've got about 600 of each at the moment, something like that. But we're pretty much due another spawn, so the next spawn from both are going to be going bye bye. Sad, I know, but I want some space. I want to buy new fishes and have somewhere to quarantine them. Uh, I don't want to be having to set up more tubs and things all over the carpet just so I can quarantine a fish. Although there is a little bit of a cunning plan going on in my mind about the blue shrimp tank, because I mean, it's not doing bad, but it's not doing good either. The numbers of shrimp aren't going up. They're having babies, but the numbers aren't going up, which tells me either the babies are dying or something's not right in there. So I'm thinking, move the shrimp into a tank that I know the shrimp do well in, which would be 34-gallon or 34-litre 9-gallon flex. The Kubitai Rasbora, they can go in there as well. But then that leaves me with a 15-litre tank, which is what, 4, 8, 12. Just under 4-gallon tank. So might replace that with something slightly larger. And see what we can figure out there. Oh, you just turn the heat up. Might have been all it took. They thought it was a different season. Got a bit warmer. I thought, oh, summer's here. Time to breed. Could quite literally be that. Out again. Off the din din. Have a good din din. See you later, Dennis, and thanks for the support. You nerd. Blooming Scandinavians coming over here invading our country 1,000 years ago. Actually, it was longer than that. About 1,400 years ago. And built a fish room at the new work premises. Sneaky. Yeah, it's kind of one of the things. I don't do much modelling anymore. And no, I don't mean kind of modelling. But do I want to switch the man cave over and start putting fish tanks in there? Because if I do put fish tanks in there, then I can't do any modelling in there anymore. Because I'm pretty sure either the dust, with lots of plastic dust going everywhere, and if not that, then the glue fumes, and if not the glue fumes and the paint fumes, and all the other nasty toxic things. Oh, zebras, peppermints, reds, green dragons. Ooh, I'd love a pair of green dragons, but as I said, I can't know where to put them at the moment. And then getting them to breed. And given what green dragon plecos sell for around here, oof, yeah, a full spawn of those. Yeah, full spawn of those would probably be worth about 1,500 quid to me. So, yeah, if I could sell a full spawn of those every month, I'd quit work. But never mind. It's one of those things is as a top up to a wage or for a job, breeding fish isn't a bad idea. It's what allows me to work part time now, and short part time, not barely part time. Um, so I'm on a 20-hour contract. Let's get it out there. So I usually end up doing a bit more than that, but you know, being able to work a 20-hour contract and still have plenty enough to pay all the bills and buy food and things like that at the end of the month is that's all we really need, isn't it? We don't need more than that. Welcome back, Ricky. Now, you can't take it with you, so. And if you get a bigger house, all the bigger house means is you have to walk further to get to things. Imagine living in a big stately home, and you're at one end in one of the wings, and you realise that you left your lighter at the other end, and you got about a quarter of a mile to walk to get your bloody lighter or anything. You know, it's yeah. And as for bathrooms where there's a massive gap between the toilet and the sink, no, that's just no, that's just a bad idea. Because the people who designed those bathrooms have never had food poisoning. If you've had food poisoning, you know you want the sink or the basin right next to the toilet. Reason why you have matches and servants. But no, me, I'd leave the bloody matches the other end. I'd have to have a lighter chained to every blooming chair, I think. Yeah, as Dan said, the most expensive fish he's got is the green phantom. And most he ever sees of it is the tail sticking out from behind the piece of bogwood. Yeah, that's probably about as much as I normally see of the clown plecos, to be honest. The rest of them are out and about normally. And they're hiding up at the moment in there. I think Spotty's a bit camera shy. After I stood there and filmed him having the naughties for 10 minutes. A quick look, Chicky's not in the cave, no. Yeah, most of my, I say the bristle noses are normally out and about and you see them all over the place, but it's one of those things is breeding, as I said, I think I said it in the should I breed for profit? Breeding expensive fish is cool, it's great. Problem is you got to sell them. And what you'll probably end up doing, as I say, with green phantom or blue phantom or dragon plecos, if they're selling for 45, 50 plus each resale, you're going to be doing well to sell 10 a month. So you're going to have to cut the prices in order to sell what you're breeding. And then you're basically just killing your own profits. So it's one of those where I might drop the price on the super reds so the store can drop the price on the super reds so they can sell more so I can clear more out. I might have to have a word with them about that next time I'm down there. All right, thank you very much, Dan. It's almost like you've been saving all these links to something. It's far beyond my talent. That's why you're a mod and I'm not. That's why you have companies sending you fish food and lights and air pumps and filters to try, and I don't. I'm not jealous, don't worry. Because I'm pretty sure most companies probably wouldn't want to hear my reviews. It's quick to the draw this evening. Because I mean, I don't have a little science lab I can do things in either. Yeah. You can breed discus and rays, etc., to make good money. You can if you can sell them. That's the problem. And given the price to start out with and the size tank you need, especially for the rays, yeah. And plus, discus are just dull. Discus are boring. Yeah, love the lab. Hey, it's on a YouTube video, even if it is just a couple of bits of white plastic stacked up in the corner, or the inside of a plastic box. It looks good on YouTube. That's the important thing. Like a lot of these things, if you see like a TV or a movie, you get slightly out of that angle that it's meant to be shot at, and you can see behind it. It's as Jeremy said, there's a reason there aren't a million discus breeders, and why some farms focusing on discus have moved away, and why Stenker's shut down. It's because heating the water that hot costs way too much money, and discus are drama queens and have a tendency to die at the slightest provocation. So, or even with no provocation. So, yeah. I'll say with your science lab, Dan, is like, I mean, if you go back years and years, and as you see, I don't recommend you do it, but my kit reviews for model kits I used to do, that all looks neat and tidy and clean and sorted from because it's all shot from the top down. And what you can't see is I've literally just gone like that and pushed all the paint pots and bits of kit and everything out of the way, and just literally cleared the space that the camera can see. If I recall correctly, one of the big guppy breeders on Coop's tour used to be discus. Yeah, blood ring, blue ring, angelfish. But again, angelfish, they're a $5 each, $10 at most. And again, if you're breeding the posher ones, people don't buy them because they cost more money. I think it's something that as fish nerds we tend to forget, is that most people who buy fish have one fish tank in which they will keep something like guppies. They'll buy their guppies or their neon platies. Neon platies? Guppies, neons, or platies, something like that. They'll have a bristle nose to keep the bottom clean, and they might have an angelfish. And most people can't keep them alive more than a few months because they don't understand cycles and correct feeding and maintenance, blah, 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 which we learn as we keep fish. So they're not willing to pay more for more expensive fish because to them they only live 3 months. So yeah, we can breed all the really posh expensive fish. The only people that will buy them are fellow fish keepers like us, and we're a very small part of the fish keeping market. And betters would be a good one to breed, but it's a lot of bloody work to breed betters. The Mediterranean saltwater. Yeah. Yeah, if you can breed saltwater fish, yeah, you're onto a winner. But again, it's a lot of work. And I don't fancy having like better wise. I don't fancy having like 50 or 100 or whatever little tubs of water, cups of water that I'm 100% water changing every day and feeding because it just takes forever. And if you just got one pair, they're all going to come out and they're basically all going to have the same colours. So if everyone decides they want red ones and all yours are blue, you're stuffed. And you're stuck with a whole bunch of fish that you can't just put in a tank together. At least with the bristlenoses, well, you can stick 150 of them in a 6-gallon tank and they're fine. It's not a problem. They don't start eating each other. And yeah, it needs to be a passion as well. To a lot of people, a fish tank is something that you have in the house. Once, maybe twice a day, you come by, you sprinkle a bit of flake food in the top, and you look at it and it's pretty. It's like a living ornament, that's it. And then when something starts going a bit wrong, like they've got some algae, they don't sit and think, right, how can we get right? So if we cut back on the light and we cut back on the feeding, we do some water changes to get the nitrate levels down, and then maybe phosphates or sulfates. Right, okay, that's how we sort them. No, they go to the pet shop and they buy the bottle that says algae killer. They dump it in the tank. It's not going to fix the problem. They're going to have to keep using the algae killer because it's going to keep coming back. This is 95, maybe more % of the fish hobby is how it is. So those of us with multiple tanks, breeding things and YouTube channels and all this kind of stuff, or merch even, not merch, just cool t-shirt, we're an extreme minority of the hobby. Most people don't even think of it as a hobby. I mean, a lot of people will have fish tanks, and I talk to a lot of people at work, and it'll come up in a conversation. I keep fish, and they'll go, "Oh, I've got a fish tank." They're like, "Oh, what do you have?" And you start reeling off scientific names for fish, because that's what you know them as. They give you the blank look, and I go, "Oh wow, that's a lot. That's a lot in one tank." And you go, "No, I've got 15 tanks." And they're like, "What?" It's not a hobby; it's a disorder. Yeah, there is that. I'm going to go with the 21 people here. Most of you don't build scale models for a hobby. Probably none of you. Right. So when I tell you that most scale modelers that are like us, fish fam types, will have a stash of model kits that will easily fill a closet. They'll have hundreds of tubs of paint, boxes and boxes of bits and spares and decals, and right. And you probably thinking, what the Why would you have 200 model kits? Well, why would you have 200 fish tanks? It's the same thing. Howdy, Chewy. How do I think the lack of affordable energy is going to affect the Northern Hemisphere for fish keeping? With all countries reporting at least a 50% increase. I think a lot of people who keep tropical fish, if they really want to keep keeping fish, will probably switch to cold water fish. Goldfish, white clouds, minnows, peppercorns, technically bristlenoses because they survive at room temperature. Those kind of things, rainbow shiners. Yeah, don't go saying there's going to be a water shortage of what we've had today. But yeah, I think it's one of those things. But, and I say this coming from a smaller tank viewpoint in the UK, because we don't have the massive tanks in the UK generally. That's considered a big tank in the UK, 50 gallon. We already pay for our water anyway, but water's dirt cheap. My water bill is less than, is probably about an eighth of what my electric bill is. Yeah, it'll go up, yeah, but not a huge amount. So if you've got one fish tank, let's say you've got a 57 litre or 15 gallon fluval flex, that's probably costing you a penny an hour to run, maybe 2 pennies if you keep your house colder and the heaters on longer. I mean, going by what my smart meter tells me, with 15 tanks running, me at home with the TV and the Xbox on, light on, I'm running around, averaging about 12 pence an hour on electric. Right, so if we say that between 15 heated, lit, and filtered tanks, we're running about 10p an hour. If you've got one, you're looking at a penny, maybe 2p an hour. People who've got one tank aren't gonna worry about it. This is not a noticeable difference. Obviously, if you've got a big fish house and you've got dozens of tanks, yeah, it will make a difference. I mean, literally, boiling a kettle costs more than running a fish tank for a day. So, yeah, that's where you kind of bring it into smoke a fatty. If I had a fatty, I would, Jeremy. But I gave that up years ago. Yeah, so we've been on water meters here for donkey's years. We pay for what comes in and what goes out of the house. So, if I dump my water, change water down the sink, it actually costs me money. Whereas if I open the back door and pour it on the garden, it doesn't cost me a thing. Just the time, grief, and hassle of everything growing in the garden like crazy, because I am regular a backhoe. Although Mary has started on the CBD oil capsules, hopefully help with her knee and balance issues. So fingers crossed on those. Gave that up and kept to the wacky. Well, I mean, it's one of those things. When you get short on funds, you just sort of give up the expensive things first. And And now I'm clean. I'm like, yeah, I'll stay clean. I'll leave it. It might help me sleep a bit, but that's about all I get from it, really, to be honest. Got generators, extension cords, and space prepared. Not really. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what it was the last time I bought wacky. Um, oh God, what was it? 200 an ounce. Yeah, I think it was 200 for 25 grams. Whereas tobacco even now is less than £15 for 25 grams. Ciao, Marco. How you doing, my friend? When the rains come to Canada, expecting flooding in November and December. The Fraser will get very deep. It looks like Marco's having a beer for us. Cheers, buddy. Not beer, but you know. I really do need to scrape the glass on that Shell Dweller tank. Um, I'm considering how long that tank's been up and running. It really shouldn't have diatom algae in there, but that's what it gets. All part of climate change. Yes, it is. And it's just going to carry on because we're not doing anything to change it. Now, on the increased electric prices, one thing I have noticed, and if you look on places like Facebook Marketplace, the amount of hot tubs that are up for sale, pardon me, yeah, the effects are going to be great, but there's not a lot we can do about it, unfortunately, individually anyway. Just things like make sure you bought a house on the top of a hill, not at the bottom. Oh, yeah, I did. Yeah, basically, whichever direction you go from here is literally you go downhill, which is a bit of a problem because every time you come home, you then have to go uphill. But you Wednesday, guys from ADA come up escaping some tanks. So expensive, 8,000 rupees just for designing. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, there aren't any big river systems around here, though, Chewy. Closest will be the River Wensum, which is in Norwich, which is, I think the closest it gets to here is about 20 miles away. I think Attleborough is safe from flooding. We've got the two main tributaries for the start of the River Thet, but considering one of those dried up this summer, they're little modern streams. So, and they're about 50, 80, maybe 100 feet further down the hill. They're not going to get 100 feet deeper. Oh, the glaciers melt. Well, if the glaciers, God dear, I'm getting American. If the glaciers melt, well then yeah, we're all screwed. But it's kind of one of those things like death and taxes is going to happen. There's nothing you can do about it, so don't worry. Ricky owns a zoo, I believe, or family owns a zoo. But yeah, aquascaping, charging for it. I mean, I understand if you're going to do something like, yeah, you got to charge, but I just dump stuff in the tank and go, yeah, it looks okay. New Orleans is sinking. Well, it is built on a swamp, so that's not really too surprising. Chicago is basically literally on top of old Chicago. I blame Liz Truss for my string government. Well, she's not in charge anymore. I think that's probably more down to the weather, as it is rather thundery and stormy in parts of the UK. Just wet here. It's yes, rather sogerific. Definitely moist outside. Yeah, it's. I mean, yeah, I'd say literally the entire old city of Chicago is now literally underneath the new city of Chicago, pretty much. So that's yeah, that's kind of nuts. Yeah, yeah. The lake got deeper, so we had to lift the city up. That way, there, people are evolving into SpongeBob's. Prime Minister didn't last long. No, she didn't. Record shortest Prime Minister in the same year as we had the record longest serving monarch. And we're not counting Louis XIV of France because you're not king when you're 4 years old. Yeah, I think it's kind of like the French catacombs in Paris that you can still get down into it in some places. It's like the basements of buildings are actually the old Chicago, and you can still get down there. But I don't think it's quite like it was in that episode of Futurama. But yeah, the Paris catacombs is somewhere I would like to explore one day. Definitely take a voice recorder and an EMF detector down there. Yeah, it was more than that. Nothing against her as a person, but her and the person she appointed to be chancellor just well out of their depth is what happened. Just so far out of their depth, it was unreal. It'd be like putting me in charge of the world's largest fish farm, kind of thing. Uh, there'd be a lot of things go wrong. Although when you manage to bomb the economy within a week, you, yeah, things are going badly wrong. It's, it's like the thing is, yeah, the prices of things are going up. There's going to be shortages of things. We as a people, we've just got to be more efficient. You know? Turn off the lights in the rooms you're not in. Unplug the chargers when you're not charging something. Don't just leave it plugged in. You know? Yeah. Minister of Farts. I could do that job. Definitely. Atlanta's got an underground district too. Again, wouldn't surprise me because isn't Atlanta also on what former wetland? Like most of Norfolk is, to be honest. Pretty much all of North Norfolk, anywhere north of probably Watton, maybe Walsham, and anywhere further out than Norwich to the east, if all the pumps stopped working, would flood completely again. The only reason it's dry land is because the Victorians drained it. Unplug things and plug them back in. Ridiculous. Yeah, but that's the way it's going to be. Zoo tanks are designed and made by a friend of mine who's won a few international aquascaping competitions. His charge was 0 rupees, just give him the bits and he went nuts. Howdy, Jamie. Yeah, that is one of the things about the UK electric system. All of our sockets have switches on them, so you just go click and switch it off. Tunnels under Vegas too, mostly a homeless place. Yeah, that's something I never quite understood. I mean, I know our plugs are bulky, and if you leave one on the floor and step on it, it makes stepping Lego feel like heaven. But that much safer. The fact that you physically can't get an electric shock off of a UK plug socket unless you really try. Having an on-off switch in the wall and a fuse in each plug. You know, outlets, so the switch and outlet in one, just got to wire them right. Yes, and it's as all of ours are like that. You just I have been shocked. It is possible. Yeah, I mean, so have I, but I was being dumb. Um, and actually, that was an old Bakelite socket, so yeah, it didn't have all the safety features that the new ones do. I mean, things. And there's plenty of videos on YouTube of no, is it some the eclectic beard did one where he's literally reacting to UK plug and sockets. Yeah, have them with remotes too. Yeah, you can switch your socket off while you're sitting there. Click. So you pick up one remote, you go click and turn the telly off. And you pick up the remote with the socket, and you go click and turn the socket off. Because even if your TV's turned off, it's still on standby, it's still drawing power. I mean, only a few milliwatts, but it's still drawing power. Yeah, the phantom drawer, that's what kills a lot of people because they just leave everything plugged in and switched on. If it's switched off at the wall, 20-watt standby, exactly. I think mine's about 200 milliwatt or something, but it's just unplug stuff and turn it off. So a lot of people you'll hear, I've got the heating on, or you'll go around someone's house and they've got the heating on, but they've got the windows open. Oh, I like the fresh air. You're heating outside. Shut the doors and the windows, and the heating will be on less. It will cost you less money. No. A 20-watt standby, it's like 4 tank filters. Exactly. Well, 20 watts would run a sensible sized tank, including the heater. And what's a flex running? Yeah. No, it's nothing to do with dates in the month. It's down to the fact that I've got a 40-litre tub on the floor with a pair of goldfish in it. Yeah. Look, you're not dogs. You're not supposed to be sniffing each other's butts. Yeah, there ain't going to be no waxing going on. Not with this amount of fur. Definitely no back crack and sack either. That was thunder. Thunderbolt and lightning, very, very frightening. He, Galileo, 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 Figaro, Magnifico. I'm not sure you want the phrase of waxing John in your head. Yeah, me either. I mean, it's bad enough I shaved my legs once, the itching that had. I used to have heaters in my water tanks in England, Got chillers in them in India. Keep it under 7 seconds to avoid content ID, or just sing it really badly like I do. It's got to actually, the algorithm has to be actually able to identify it as a song. And yeah, thankfully my voice is bad enough that it doesn't. Although we might find out if I start doing the shorts again next year with the silly singing, when the shorts are actually monetized. Exactly, most songs are more than one note. Precisely. If you take away the pitch changes, it doesn't identify it. It just thinks it's rap music. And then it can't identify the rap. Yeah, we got lightning as well now. So we have thunderbolts and lightning. Which tells me one thing's for sure. I'm not going to be sleeping alone tonight. I will have a certain putty cat come do his snugglies. And I'll probably have a certain shadow wandering around upstairs. There's a fair way away still. But if the electric goes out, Zeus is mad at me. Yeah. I'm here to upset Odin. And yeah, Yella's going to be standing at the foot of my bed watching me sleep. That's not a good idea because down that end you'll be able to see on my feet and my butt. Because no one wants to be that end of me. The snoring is bad enough up this end. The snoring and the wheezing, the other end you don't want to be smelling. Don't know a song that's just one note and no bass line that is. Probably more than one bass line that's all one note. What was that Nirvana song? Oh, there is a Nirvana song that's literally one bass note. I think it's played about 4 times during the song. I can't remember what it was. Yeah, so I'll leave the gas mask out for you, Yella. I'll change the filters in it. You should be okay. Yeah, I know Yella's into that shit, but and I did say chit. Oh, I suppose you could say it's an abbreviation of chitin, into that kite. Another joy of the English language. Take chit, add in onto it, and it begins with a K. Yeah, weird. But that's what happens when you have a language that's mushed together of about half a dozen separate ones. Oh, oh, what's going on there? What are you up to, silly little lemmiers? Hey? Yeah. You on the prowl, Spotty? Is that what you're doing? You got your bristles are waggling. Oh, I see. Justin Bieber is retiring. What? I thought he stopped making music donkeys years ago. So if we're sneaky, we might be able to get. There is Spotty Boy. And there is his girly friend, Bertie. As you can see, she is considerably larger than he. And she is a sunshine bristlenose. So I think that's a cross between an albino and a lemon blue eye. So you get the lemon, but you get the albino eyes. She's a lovely little fishy. She's not once spiked me. Unlike that little bugger. Hey, spotty boy. He spikes me every time I try and decave him for baby Plex. No, it doesn't hurt. It's just more of a ow. It's kind of like Velcro, basically. It's not painful. You just go ow because it's kind of unexpected, but should really expect it because it happens every bloody month. Oh, lights are flickering. Oh, router's still on. We're good. So if I do disappear, it's because there's been a power cut. Yeah, Pleco would be really good for scratching your back with. And most of the time, I'm more likely to use a wire brush than a Pleco, but I've heard of underground in Burlington and Wiltshire. I have. I am aware of. I've not visited or looked into it too deeply, but yeah, I'm aware that the under Burlington there is a whole bunch of stuffs. Same with Cheshire, and they have some interesting hauntings in Cheshire, or Chester, I should say. Because again, like with Chicago, it is built up. The ghosts of the Roman soldiers that walked down what used to be the Roman road in the middle of Chester, or March, I should say. Apparently, you just see the tops of their heads through the floor because they're still walking where the Roman road was. So you just see the helmets going along the floor. Not those kind of helmets, you dirty, dirty people. 35 acres and a pond. That would be cool. Have I seen anything in my haunted trips? Yes, quite a bit. Not so much seen all the time, more felt, heard, experienced. Saw one apparition once, but I didn't have the camera on. And the one I did in Harvard Woods, at a point in that where you can just make out the shape of a shadow in the background walking past or peeking out from around a tree kind of thing. I'm not sure if that's pareidolia or not. Oh. Yeah, he definitely didn't write his own songs. I mean, he might have written "Baby, Baby, Baby." That's. You want to catch a ghost on a camera, you got to film it on a potato. Yep. It's one of those things where you got full on HD. Yeah, it doesn't show, or I don't know. Yeah, I've heard plenty, experienced plenty of kind of feels, which not everyone can feel. I mean, Icklingham All Saints is probably one of the strongest ones where I got a migraine, vertigo, and just someone was watching me very closely that didn't want me there. And that church has been abandoned for a century. So there was no one there. And can't even blame it on random electric fields because there's no electric either. Yeah, there's all sorts of weird, unexplainable stuff happens. I'm not claiming to understand it or be an expert again in anything, because enough weird stuff happens that I know there has to be something. San Rico, thought it might have been a reflection of some dust or something. Yeah, that is another one. Is a lot of the I caught these orbs, and they're in a dusty old house, and they've been walking around kicking up the dust, and it's like, yeah, it's just dust. Or if you freeze frame it, you can see that it's an insect, like a moth or something, just caught in the night vision and glows. Had the question I've asked the majority of people who work with these things, can chanting or repeating mantras, spells, etc., to get rid of a ghost in different languages work? Um, I'm not entirely sure. I mean, I would think like it would be kind of language specific. So if you're you're chanting in Tibetan, a British ghost, it's probably not going to understand it. Whether it's the intention, the thought, the vibe that it puts off that does the trick, I don't know. I've never tried to get rid of one because I don't see the issue. Um, I've not lived with any nasty ones. They've all been pretty friendly and chill. Um, and I say the most that Shadow does, or the worst thing Shadow's done, is wake me up by shaking me. Um, the worst thing he done is nip my toes. Most of the time, he just jumps up on the bed and has a doze, or rubs around my feet and gives me cold chills around my legs. Um, so it's all Venus reflected off of swamp gas. Yes, there is truth in some of that. No, it's not. That is literally just a picture of the cat. Yes, that is Zach, my ex fur buddy, the floof monster, the bestest cat ever, who unfortunately passed September 2 years ago now, I think, and has hung around ever since. I did actually see Sparky the other day, who was put down a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago now. When I was coming home from work, I saw the silhouette of a cat sitting under a certain bush in a certain place, which is where Sparky always sat. It was her place, and yeah, it wasn't one of the other cats. It wasn't Pumpkin or Ginge. It was different silhouettes. And when I went back, literally 5 seconds later, wasn't there anymore. Yeah, it's 2 years now that the floof monster, the floofer, the bestest putty cat ever. Yeah, it's scary, isn't it? Jeremy, the last house I lived in, the doors in the attic are open at night. Yeah, yeah. As I say, you're hearing things, you're getting doors opening, but nothing bad is actually happening. I mean, it could just be the people just, or whoever it was, just reliving what they used to do. Shout at their wife or husband or the kids, and sleeping in the attic, get up, go downstairs in the middle of the night for a pee. Um, Yes, I have my uncle in Salt Lake and three unknown ones in Lake Road. Yeah, it's exactly. And unless something actually bad is happening, then there's no need to be concerned or worried or scared even. Um, and when you think about it, they've been in the house far longer than we will have been. So if we start changing things and mucking things around, there's no wonder they might get a bit angry. So yeah, just talk to them. It's, you know, it's really not that difficult. Just treat them like people, really. If you reverse Britney Spears, "Hit Me Baby One More Time," it says "Sleep with." Well, I'm not seeing. Christina Aguilera got a great voice, but she'd sing metal. Yeah, actually, I can see that working. She's got the power in there to cut through metal. Yeah, that is. You didn't want your mum's cabinets. She's like, I don't want your cabinets. Kitchen needs an update. Yeah, I may be a little more polite than that. You know, that kind of thing. But yeah, I know you're attached, so this is how it's always been for you. I'm changing it because this will work better for me. I don't mean any disrespect by doing it. Blah blah blah. Uncle comes in around 9. You can see the shadow coming in, going up the stairs, and the key sound. Stay in the lab and don't go out and disturb. Yeah, exactly. It's your uncle going upstairs. Maybe say hello, but you don't have to be scared of it. That is a lot of the issues. People are scared of these things, and then they get scared. Then everything is worse to them. Um, and then they'll get people in to investigate, and it depends on who comes in. Because some people come in, they just want the evidence and they rile the spirits up, as it were. They antagonize and upset. Whereas you have someone coming who's nice and calm, explains what's going on, and it all calms down a bit. It's all nice and chill. Door opens on the side, just don't welcome in. Yeah, well, there is that. Actually, I've watched a couple of videos on Vlad Tepes or Vlad Dracul lately. Very interesting history. And I came up with a theory because we know how Vlad the Impaler would have used to impale his foes on stakes, big long stake up the bum, out the mouth, 20,000 at a time, kind of thing. I'm wondering, and obviously Vlad Dracula, vampires. That's where the vampire myth kind of germinated. Dracula kind of styly. So I'm wondering whether the whole concept of the stake is where the put the stake through the vampire's heart came from. Just a thought. And that's how Ricky found his uncle's antique collection for guns, swords, and other things. Cool. Actually, my old sword is made in India. It's an old Indian cavalry saber. Oh, pardon me. Yeah, I'll say it came. You nail them into the coffin so they couldn't get out. But I'm wondering whether the stake through the heart ties in with the staking from Vlad the Impaler. It kind of makes sense to me anyway. Sort of all those various Eastern European folkloric things just kind of gelling together in Western culture. Because if you do look into the history of the vampire myth, it does go back a long, long, long way, and it's in most cultures worldwide, historically. I'm not saying vampires are real. There's plenty of soul-sucking vampires out there. We've been talking about Justin Bieber, for example, so, and politics, and religion. But yeah, was it Beck who had the song "Soul Sucking Jerk"? I think it was. Ex-girlfriend of soul something, but yeah, exactly. She was a succubus, not to be confused with an incubus, that is the male version of, or also a 90s rock band. Before Chewie gets in with that one. Brandon Boyd, I think, was the lead singer and songwriter. Pardon Me being probably their most famous song, over here at least, anyway. But yes, random aside from vampires into 90s alternative rock. I said in the description, randomness will occur kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, they've found so many historical graves like buried under the walls of cities where the skeleton has literally been staked or nailed into the coffin, so they couldn't get out again. Which, dates things way, way back. Certainly predates Christianity. A lot of myths out there started with animals like Chiral, a witch who laughs and lives in the jungle and steals kids, and that's hyenas. Yeah. It's like a lot of the European fairy tales are there originally were pretty much purely designed to keep kids safe. Don't go into the woods or the big bad wolf will get you. Because wolves and bears lived in the woods then and they would eat children. It's easy. It's an easy meal, easy prey. It's a lot of these things are based in that historically. And also historically, we were a lot more connected to the land and nature than we are now. Back then, people would be able to know what the weather was going to do just by feel or just looking up, basically. They wouldn't understand that cumulonimbus clouds mean a thunderstorm is coming. I would have seen the shape of the cloud and the color of the cloud and gone, yeah, better get indoors. Yeah, we do still have nature, Jeremy. I mean, it's getting rarer and rarer, but we do still have it. Oh yeah, lots of stuff from Germany. Well, Germany's got a long and storied history of things like that. I mean, all the Grimm fairy tales come out of that region, and therefore pretty much all of the older Disney movies do. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Beauty and the Beast, all those kind of things are hexes and myths, buck full of them. Exactly. I mean, and the further you go back in history, looking at these things, the more all the various cultures seem to tie in. They all have the same core myths and folklore. There's slight differences regionally, but you can look at it and go, yeah, that's the vampire myth, that's the demon myth, or folklore. That's this, that's that. Werewolves, big feet, Sasquatch, lake monsters, and we might be able to explain a lot of them now quite easily. Yeah. But yeah, Disney made pathetic stories fun for the kids. Yes, they did. They took stories about keeping kids safe from wild animals and getting lost in the woods, etc. Hansel and Gretel with the leaving the trail of breadcrumbs. Yeah, that was so you can find your way home. You leave a trail. Ghost of German Show. So I used in that video as well. Yeah, I had a VHS of that. Dickerton Scheisse, I think it was called. It was good for getting rid of unwanted guests. When guests had outstayed their welcome, you just stick that in, press play, and just watch them leave. A video of a large German lady defecating into a bucket will get rid of people. Just trust me on that. And anyone that hangs around, you really want to kick out and disown. And I'm not kink shaming anyone, but you know, there are limits. Now we just use Bieber CDs. Yeah, that'll scare kids. Or Kenny Rogers, that'll do the same thing. Or if you really want to scare the children, you stick the Rolf Harris on. And I'm definitely not singing those because those will, if not copyright strike, they'll get something. I think they're, well, yeah, they're music non grata. You're not allowed to play them anymore. It might be worth checking to see if there are YouTube videos of those. A German hex book that won't open. It's got a stick down its spine. It's impossible to remove. There are ways, but you destroy the book trying to do it. That's the problem. And it's probably worth quite a few quid or rupees or. Yeah, and chances are you probably don't want to read what's in it anyway. A star exactly. Something I very rarely got at school. Perhaps if I'd have paid a bit more attention and actually done the work, I might have got a few more, but meh. Priscilla, darling, how are you? Sending big hugs. Well, I don't have to be that big hugs anymore because you're disappearing, lady. There's a lot less of you hug than there used to be. It's all this hiking around mountains that's doing that. 4,000 squids. Oof. Yeah, you don't want to be destroying that. Oh, hello, Shadow. I hear you. And if you did hear that, that was my upstairs back bedroom door opening. Yes, the mountains keep you going. Yes, time out in nature, good exercise, fresh air. It's amazing what it does, really, isn't it? How moving more is a good way to lose weight. And well done to you, Priscilla. I may be being facetious, but well done. You should be proud of yourself and keep up the good work. Just don't go going stick thin on us, hey? Yeah, there's something about being, let's say, it's that connection to nature that we do miss. Winter is coming. You just have to get the crampons out and your slightly warmer clothing, because that is a mistake a lot of people make. Is if they do go hiking in the winter, they put on all their ski gear, and then after about 5 minutes, they're sweating their nuts off, and then when they stop, they freeze. Yeah. Yes, you're more likely to die from exposure and hypothermia wearing a ski suit than not wearing a ski suit. Harder to access, yes, but I'm sure you'll find something you can still enjoy and wander about. Now, do you use hiking poles, trekking poles, or are you under your own steam, as it were, rather than? Because I do have a trekking pole for when I'm on the rough ground. Does come in useful. Everything that's below 11,000 feet. Yeah, the thing is, Priscilla, there's nothing over 130 feet elevation in Norfolk. I think the highest point in Norfolk is like 133 feet above sea level. And there are vast tracts of Norfolk that are beneath, teeth in, that are actually beneath or below sea level. A bit like Holland, the Netherlands, most of the country is below sea level. So, yeah, always interesting. So, when we get certain tides and storms at the same time, we get storm surge in Norfolk that will literally come inland all the way to Norwich. It's Most 14 is here in my state. Try to knock out as many as I can physically before moving to ocean level. I mean, I say the lack of oxygen as well will also help burn it for calories. Hello, Marit, my darling. How are you, my dear? I hope no worse than you have been, and I hope improved as well. Big hugs to you too. There you go. Yeah, so mountaineering is still alive. Climbing mountains is not something I've done too often. I mean, I've been up Snowdonia, I've been up Ben Nevis, but Snowdonia, climbing Mount Snowdon, that's more just a walk. Handful of them that are a bit sketchy. Find the whole F around and find out. Yeah, yes, just be safe. I'm sure you will, but it's a. If you start looking at something and going, yeah, I'm not entirely sure, then don't. Although there is, I say, a channel I've been watching a fair bit of lately, which is mostly camping based stuff. The Outdoor Gear Review. He's one of the less annoying camping outdoory type people that there are. Mainly, personally speaking, mainly because he's not religious. So that works well for me. A knife edge of 900-foot drop on each side. Not ready for that yet. Don't want to make those statistics. Yeah, you don't. Maybe at some point in the future, it's something you can aim for when you feel ready for it. Just don't do it on a windy day or a rainy day. Bright, sunny, and still is ideal for that. Because that is a mistake a lot of people make when they go up in the mountains. They forget about wind, and that the higher you go, the worse the wind gets. And yes, there's a lot of people who've been blown off the side of mountains. It's sad, but it happens. Yeah, I mean, I think it was the highest building in Norfolk. So there's nothing in Norfolk that's 900 feet. Oh, I'm aware of Capitol Peak. Yes. Yes, I'm aware of that one. I've seen a video of that one somewhere. I can't remember. Yeah, forget water and common sense. Yes. Yeah, they go for a day hike and take a 500 ml bottle of water. No, you need a few litres at least, and a camping stove, and food, and a change of clothes, warm clothes, a survival blanket, something to shelter under, just in case the weather changes. I mean, it doesn't have to be anything severe, it just be a tarp, but a tarp will keep the rain off you. And if it's cold, you don't want to get wet. Even if it's warm, you don't want to get wet because you'll get cold. And then you start making boneheaded decisions. It's always better to stop and think for 5 minutes first. On the bucket list, need to climb all the other 14ers first. I'm sure you'll get there, Priscilla. I have every faith in you. Nice gun if you're in grizzly country, yeah. I mean, even if I'm just going for a walk, right, which means I might be out for an hour, maybe 2 hours. Well, let's forget that. Let's say I'm going up to Norwich on the bus for wander around like I did the other week for doing some filming. I was out for 6 hours in a city. I had my walking pole, I had bottles of drink, I had painkillers, anti-inflammatories, and antihistamines with me. Made sure my phone was fully charged, and I'm like in the middle of a city. I'm like 100 yards from the nearest food shop, but yeah, I would take things like that. I would take 3 litres, a life straw, emergency kit, bear spray, and plenty. You can't go wrong that way. As I say, it's better to come back and not having used any of it than it is to need it and not have it. I'm not to say that I can't remember what it was, but the one you visited, the last one you put pictures up of with the blue water, that was beautiful. I never use all my water, man. He does. Yeah, exactly. Some people burn through water faster than others. Um, you know, there are people that don't drink anywhere near as much as I do, and there are people who drink way more than I do. I mean, I've noticed literally going from summertime to autumn or fall that I'm drinking a lot less, simply because I'm not sweating as much. Yeah. Have a good night, Ricky. Sleep tight and all that. Easy 4 miles out and back. Yeah, exactly. It's easy. It's 4 miles each way, but things can go wrong in 4 miles quite easily. Oh, hell, I stepped out the front door and dislocated a hip, so I never take these things for granted. I mean, I'd rather be over prepared and carry more than I need than under prepared and not have something. I mean, even if you're just going out, as you say, for a 4 mile, which you can do in easy in a day, take a small head torch or something with you as well, just in case. Because if the weather comes in and it gets real dark, you might find it useful to have a torch, flashlight. It doesn't have to be some big, super bright LED power, blind everything at 300 yards kind of thing. Just enough to see the ground in front of your feet. That's all you need. Yeah, it's something that Mary and I are maybe looking to doing next year once we got sorted and steady and stable in our jobs and money's sensible again. Get a tent and maybe go do a couple of little camping trips. Waiting for the dislocated hips. Mine pops all the time and I have arthritis. How does that suck? For me, it doesn't suck. I mean, it's the falling over that hurt. Um, I was born with loose joints, so my right hip dislocates, both my shoulders do. Left hip can do, but that still hurts when it does. But yeah, it's one of those where if I roll over wrong in bed, I can pop my hip out or my shoulder out. Um, and yeah, just pop it back in and carry on. It's not really much of an issue. I mean, most if I sleep on the right hand side, I can guarantee I'll wake up with a dislocated shoulder. And it's just a case of pop, carry on with your day. Yeah, walking stick, 6 scans a monster, and a PKE meter. Although some of the places we're thinking that we might like to go, a PKE meter would probably be a good idea. Doesn't sound fun when popping, but doesn't hurt. Yeah, exactly. It's because you've probably done it that many times, like me, that you pretty much just killed the nerve endings, so you don't feel it anymore. But yeah, I mean, that's a shoulder popping in and out of joint. Shouldn't do it, but it does. In my case, it's literally born without part of the bone and loose ligaments. Doctors did want to fix it when I was younger, but at this point, given the 2 choices of treatments, I'd rather just have it dislocate every so often and probably get arthritis in it a bit when I'm older. But life is pain, and then you get old and it just hurts even more. Yeah, exactly. You get to a point where I think it's somewhere in your 40s where if you wake up in the morning and nothing hurts, it's more of a worry. See you later, Danny boy. Have fun. Fist bumps to the fry. And hi, Mrs. DKF. Mwah. Thank you very much. Yes. I always say, don't forget to hit that like button. But I think everyone has, because we've got more likes than viewers, which is always a good thing. Although we have less likes than we have had total viewers, but never mind. We won't worry about that. Damn living, yes. Pain is why I smoke. I've had arthritis pretty good since 30. Yeah, and it's one of those things they've proven, isn't it, Jeremy, that THC and CBD are really good for arthritis pain. Yet over here, the THC part is still illegal. You can buy CBD oil, no problems. You can buy it in capsules from the chemist, pharmacy. Oh, Debbie's going to bed as well, so sleep tight yourself, Debbie. Thank you very much for being here. Night and day difference. Yeah, and yet I'm not done about there, but over here you still get the drugs are bad. Oh no, you can't do that because it will lead to this, and this, and then you'll be breaking all the laws, and oh my god, your brain will melt. And no, it won't. Yes, there is a very small minority of cases where it can trigger an underlying psychosis or allow it to surface. That's not the herb's problem. That's not the herb doing that to you. That's something that's already there, and you just, by smoking or imbibing too much of said herb, you've let the beast loose. That was crazy long before pop. Yeah, I was nuts already as well. It's not going to make any difference to me. The only, I'm not even sure whether it was that or the drink that ruined my short-term memory or just age. Probably a bit of both or all three. But I have noticed, one as an aside, with the new job, because I'm using my brain more at work, I'm not doing something completely mindless like stocking shelves. I do my fair share of stocking shelves and serving customers, but there's a lot of things to learn and pick up, and so I'm using my brain a lot. What I'm thinking, whereas the last few jobs I've had, I hadn't had to think, and yeah, plus the amount of concussions. I got sober, memory improved so much I thought I had a superpower. Yeah, there is that. Well, enjoy, Marriott. Hope it's a good race for you. Hope there's plenty of zoomy, overtakey, Hamilton crashing into a wall. I mean, if I woke up in the morning and nothing was sore, I'd think I had a superpower. If I did it for more than 2 days in a row, anyway. That, or I'd think that someone was slipping me painkillers in the sleep. Only difference I feel is the pain and you dream all the time. There's nothing wrong with dreaming. Dreaming is your brain. Yeah. All dreaming is your brain is processing things that happen to you during the day. I say you live in the Netherlands. Some things like live in the south. Yeah. It's, so living in the Netherlands. So if I say a good avond, and we're covered on that one, I think that's about the correct pronunciation for the Dutch for good evening. I'm not sure how much phlegm is supposed to be in the throat for that one. Is that why everyone tries to kill me in my dreams? Yeah, I won't worry about that. I say most of my dreams are really bizarre, and to most people, probably nightmares. It's just what I'm used to dreaming about. Um, I did have a weird one this afternoon in afternoon nap time with Mary. I had a dream dream that involved fish, and I bought a bunch of fish. There were these little loaches. I think they were sold as giraffe head loaches or something. But it turned out that they were something that was going to grow a lot bigger than I was expecting because they were mislabeled. And I noticed a fish tank in a pub. So I snuck into the pub and was trying to put these loaches into the pub's tank. But the landlord was someone who used to be in Coronation Street 30 years ago. And then I woke up. It was weird. And I think that was my brain was dreaming about fish to remind me to take Baldrick here out of his bag and put him in with Lucky. Well, Lady Di's still here, setting up more tanks. That's always good. Dump some sand in, stick a heater in, stick a filter in, chuck a few rocks in, a bit of wood, plant a few plants, fill it up with water, job done. Or is that me oversimplifying things again? The Sharpe method of aquascaping. When I first got the Flex 34 litre, the little 9 gallon, I did video me setting that tank up. It was awful. Video is awful. So I never uploaded it. But it was literally 30-minute video from a completely bare, empty new tank to it set up, running, scaped, planted, with fish in it. Breeding tanks, yeah. Breeding and fry tanks, they're even quicker and easier because all you do is you stick the filter in, stick the heater in, fill it up with water, job done. And if you're clever and you balance the water temperature out of the tap, you don't even have to worry about waiting for it to come up to temperature or be the right temp. You just put the fish straight in. And then people go, oh no, you've not cycled it for 3 months. Oh no, what? Oh no, everything will die within minutes. Oh dear. And that is my cue. Also, that is another cue, because that means Corey's just gone live. So, I know there's only 11 people here, but if we go, what can we do with the hashtag today? If you're going to go see Corey, hashtag Plecklets. That'll do. That's a good one. There we go. Hashtag Plecklets. Help if I actually typed it in the right box, really, wouldn't it? There we go. So, a couple of months ago, I realised fry is what you call baby fish. Yeah, that or baby fish. Or plecklets, criblets, shrimplets, shellets, limlets. Add a let at the end of it, and anything it just means it's the baby version. But anyway, thank you to everyone for being here. Hope you enjoyed, at least help pass a bit of time on a Sunday. Watch out for a couple of videos this week, as usual, on Monday and Friday. I'm not sure what they're going to be yet, so you'll know pretty much at the point I know. Anyway, have fun, stay safe, peace out, rock on, bye bye. Sunday shop, do 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 do. Sunday shop, do 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 do. Sunday shop, do 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 do. Ah. Ew.